Greetings and salutations and welcome to Brimley Bays basketball on Eagle 95.1. Scott Nason broadcasting from the Carl Park Memorial Gymnasium in Brimley, Michigan, awaiting the start of our boys varsity basketball contest between the Pickford Panthers and the Brimley Bays. Our broadcast engineer tonight is Brendan Benson as well. This is a very key EUP conference matchup between these two squads. Brimley enters this game with a 7-2 record, 3-1 in the EUP conference, fresh off that big victory Tuesday night over the Rudyard Bulldogs, where they won by 40 points, 81-41, as it was Kaleb Johanson and Sam Hopper, each with 16 points in a very balanced scoring attack. And we'll talk a little bit later to head coach Matt Bathy about that game and looking at this matchup against the Pickford Panthers. This is a team that had a very successful regular season, and, they got to the districts and lost their big guy, Derek Edington, who has graduated now. And another big guy of the Edington family has made an appearance. He was on the team last year, but number 23, Nick Edington, a sophomore. He is tall, and he's going to be someone for the Brimley Bays that they are going to have to keep their eye on. The Pickford Panthers entered tonight's game with a 4-4 record, 3-2 in the EUP conference. So the Panthers really, if they're going to win the EUP conference, they're going to have to probably win this game, as right now Cedarville on top of the EUP conference with a 5-0 record. You also have Engadine with one loss, and those two teams are playing tonight in Engadine. Don't know if we're going to be able to get a score on that one, but imagine a lot of people in this gym on both sides are rooting for Engadine, because Cedarville obviously does not have a loss in conference, and Brimley with one loss, Pickford with two. And no offense to Rudyard, Detour, and Newberry, but really the EUP conference will be won by one of these four teams. Brimley Bays basketball brought to you by the Wicked Sister. Burgers, starters, snacks, shareables, soups, and tapas. Voted the #1 pub in the UP. They're located on Ashman Street in Sioux, Michigan, and we were just there before this game at the Business After 5 event, so imagine many people are just leaving that. So hello to all the folks that we saw at the Wicked Sister, Scott, Kathy, and the entire crew. Bays basketball also brought to you by the Chippewa County Credit Union, where all families make one union, serving all of Chippewa County, member NCUA, and equal housing lender. Lots of games going on in high school basketball tonight. In boys basketball, we mentioned Cedarville and Engadine. The Sioux High Blue Devils are at Rudyard tonight in its Straits Area Conference play. Newberry at Detour and Sheboygan at St. Ignace. And there's one boys game on Saturday. Ogama Heights will be at Sioux High. Girls basketball, no games tonight. Tomorrow night, quite a few games. Brimley is at Pickford in girls basketball. Now we have Sioux High Blue Devil hockey tomorrow night, so we won't be carrying that game. Other games in girls basketball tomorrow night: Cedarville at Engadine, Detour at Newberry, Rudyard at the Sioux, and St. Ignace at Sheboygan. Brimley Bays basketball brought to you by Chuck Renzi Ford. You've got a relative in the car business at Chuck Renzi Ford of Newberry. They're located on 309 Newberry Avenue. You can also find them on Facebook at Chuck Renzi Ford of Newberry. Also brought to you by O'Connor's in Pickford. Check out their full line of Dodge truck, Ram, and Jeep vehicles. Looking at our broadcast schedule here before we go to our first break, we mentioned tomorrow night we'll have Sioux High Blue Devil hockey. Tim Ellis will be at the Big Bear Arena as the Blue Devils will be taking on Traverse City West. Tim will have the call of that game tomorrow night around 7:45 with the face-off at 8. And then on Saturday, Sioux High will be at home taking on Flint Powers. Tim will have the call of that one. 2:45 pregame show with the face-off at 3. And next week we have our sports show, The Game, heard on Monday night, 6 o'clock from the Wicked Sister on Ashman Street. And then we'll have one game next week, girls at Cedarville on Thursday, a week from tonight, Thursday, January 25th. Todd Olmsted will have the call of that one. Then next weekend we'll have a couple Sioux High Blue Devil hockey games. Next Friday against Cora, and next Saturday against Midland. We're going to take our first break here in our pregame show, as we have about 10 minutes before the start of this one. We're going to hear from Brimley Bays head basketball coach Matt Bates. We had a good chat with the coach before the game, talking about that game against Rudyard on Tuesday and how that hopefully for him and the Bays will carry over into this one, because this is a big game. This is one of the ones that you circle when you see the schedule come out late summer, early fall. You saw this game against Pickford as one that the Bays will want, and they definitely want to get. And our visitors from Pickford, they're feeling the same way. They want to get a road win here in Brimley So we're just about 10 minutes away from the start of tonight's game between the Brimley Bays and Pickford Panthers. We'll be back with Coach Bathy coming up next on Eagle 95.1. Joining us on the pregame show is Brimley Bays head basketball coach Matt Bathy as the Bays set to do battle against the Pickford Panthers. And Coach, before we talk about tonight's matchup, let's go back to Tuesday night, a 40-point victory over a conference foe in the Rudyard Bulldogs as the Bays improved to 7-2. Thoughts on that game? I know we talked about it at the end of the game, but looking back, thoughts on a very impressive performance.
Yeah, I was really happy with that game. We played like a team for 4 quarters. We had really great energy. Our defense was outstanding, and I think we're starting to turn the corner and put things together.
So you carry over that momentum into practice yesterday and then into this contest. Hopefully tonight against the Pickford Panthers. Panthers enter this contest 4-4. You guys are going to play them twice. A team that gave you trouble last year. What do you know about this year's squad, and what do you got to do to beat them tonight?
Well, a big part of last year was Derek Edington, and he's not here tonight, thank God. But he's got a younger brother, Nick, and he's tough. And I think we have to continue to do what we've been doing and build our momentum going forward and really keep playing team basketball. Our defense, our game plan tonight is the same as it's been, is push the ball, really put a lot of pressure on their guards, and we'll go from there.
What sort of defensive matchups are you looking at as far as trying to contain Edington? Obviously, you got your 2 big men underneath. Are you going to try to split the time with them, or do you have something else up your sleeve?
No, I think we're going to start off with Brenden Shornack guarding them straight up man-to-man, and then see how he does. And I have Sam Hopper coming off the bench, his defense has really improved recently. But other than that, we're going to put a lot of pressure on the guards and hopefully not get him the ball. So that's our hope anyways.
You look at that game on Tuesday night, 24-26 assists I think your team has. When you get above 20 assists on your team, you're going to win more often than not. Is that something that you stress to them during practice and before the game? Is, look guys, 20 assists, that's a big number. Try to get it done tonight.
Yeah, I didn't put a number on it, but I just said, when we share the ball like that, we're tough to beat because we have so many weapons, and if all of our weapons are touching the ball, we never know. I didn't know that Kaleb and Sam were both going to have 16, and Sam got it coming off the bench. So I don't know who's our leading scorer is going to be tonight, and having that's a luxury. So as long as we share the basketball, we're going to do really well.
Coach, best of luck tonight against the Pickford Panthers. We'll talk to you after the game.
Thank you.
And we'll be back with more on Brimley Bays basketball pregame show here on Eagle 95.1. Scott Nason back at the Carl Park Memorial Gymnasium in Brimley, Michigan. The starting lineups announcing right now for these 2 squads. First of all, for the visiting Pickford Panthers, starting tonight, number 5, Joey Boyk. Number 12, Sebastian Roth. Number 21, Jimmy Storey. Number 23, Nick Edington. And number 24, Travis Green. The Pickford Panthers are coached by head coach Drew Pocken. The JV game, the Panthers defeated Brimley by the score of 54-25. We'll be joined at halftime and in postgame by Vance Nason for his thoughts on this key contest here for the EUP Conference title. And now Coach Aikinen announcing the starting lineups for the Brimley Bays. Starting tonight at guard, number 24, Dylan Carrick. Starting at forward, wearing number 32 for the Bays, Tristan Lyons. Starting at guard for the Brimley Bays, wearing number 34, Zach Gross. Got the old Chicago Bulls music playing there. I like this addition. Good call. Starting at forward, wearing number 42, Brenden Shornack. And starting at forward, wearing number 44, Kaleb Johanson. The Brimley Bays are coached by head coach Matt Bathy. So a big crowd here in Brimley, probably our biggest crowd we've seen all year. Lots of Panther fans to our right, as well as Brimley fans to our left. The other side, a little more Brimley fan-oriented. And so Brimley will be in their home white jerseys with the blue trim, and the Pickford Panthers will be in their road purple jerseys with the white trim. And I want to give a big shout-out to Darlene. She's a huge supporter of Brimley Athletics. She loves to come and watch the boys play, and the girls, the Bays in general, but she hasn't been able to attend as of late, but she's been able to listen in. So Darlene, I appreciate you listening. Thank you for all the kind words, and I hope you enjoy the broadcast. And thank you for listening. You can listen online at radioeaglesioux.com or, of course, the old-fashioned way at the radio. Panthers win the tip. They're going left to right as seen on your radio dial. Joey Boyk with the ball. Passes it over to Storey on the right wing. Now Storey with it. Being guarded by Gross. Jimmy Storey looking inside. Now passes it to Edington inside. Edington finds some room, puts it up, puts it in. So Nick Edington gives the Panthers a 2-0 lead here on the Pickford first possession. Now here's the Bays with it, Zach Gross. Zach Gross over to Carrick. Dylan Carrick on the right wing, being guarded by Boyk. Now Carrick inside. That one's swatted away by Edington off of his hands. We'll stay with the Bays. 2-0 Panthers, 7:27 to play in this first quarter. Now Lyons to inbound. Lyons looking, he's got to get it up there. He does. Pass it to midcourt line to Shornack. Now Shornack over to Lyons. Tristan Lyons being guarded by Boyk. Pickford won both games last season between these two squads. Big difference, no Derek Edington. But this Pickford team's still very good. Now between the circles, Lyons over to Gross. Inside, nice pass. Johanson puts it up, no good. Rebound off a Pickford player out of bounds, so the Bays keep it. We saw Johanson really dominate the boards in that game against Rudyard. He scored 16 points, but I don't know how many rebounds he ended up having, but it had to be close to that. Now a bad pass intercepted by the Panthers. Boyk with it. Pickford with the ball now. Taken there by Jimmy Storey. Joey Boyk, right-handed dribble across the midcourt line. Gets it to Ross, Sebastian Ross. Now Storey. Over to Edington on the right wing, being guarded by Shornack. Now Edington drives. Edington puts it up. No. And we're going to have a blocking foul. And Zach Gross a little late getting back there, so at the line, Nick Edington will shoot 2. First foul of the game by either squad. Then we'll go against Zach Gross. So at the line, Nick Edington with the only 2 points here so far tonight. He'll shoot 2. First free throw up. That one's way short. So Edington will get one more. We've talked about free throws a lot this season for Brimley. They didn't do real good on Tuesday as well. Second free throw up and good by Edington. He has 3, and the Panthers lead 3-0. Now Pickford, a bit of a press here. Gross gets it to Shornack. Back to Gross. Zach Gross with the ball. Across the midcourt line. Being guarded by Ross. Gross now right-handed dribble. Far sideline. That's Johanson. Johansson's pass almost stolen. Picked up by Lyons. Now Lyons finds some space. Drives. No, but we'll have another blocking foul. Yeah, that one's going to go, I believe, against Boyk. And so at the line, Tristan Lyons will shoot 2. 6:24 to play in this first quarter. 3-0 in favor of Pickford. So Tristan Lyons at the line. He'll shoot 2. First free throw up, good. Fans like that. These free throws are going to have to be improved during the season by Brimley, especially when you get into those playoff district games where every point counts. Lyons makes them both count, and it's 3-2 Pickford. 6:20 to play in this first quarter. Jimmy Storey passes to Boyk, now stolen by Carrick. Carrick quickly to Gross. Now Gross inside, puts it up, good. Zach Gross, first field goal for the Bays, and they lead 4-3. 6 minutes to play here in this first quarter. Crowd into this game early. Storey across the midcourt line, now gets it to Boyk. Boyk on the right wing. Now Ross inside Edington. Nice pass underneath. No. Carrick commits the foul, and that's going to bring number 24, Travis Green, to the line, and he'll shoot 2. So that foul on Dylan Carrick, his first, team foul number 2. So that'll bring Travis Green to the line. He'll shoot 2. First free throw up, good, his first point. Pickford now 2 of 3 from the charity stripe. Green will shoot one more. We saw Rudyard on Tuesday. They didn't get their first free throw until about midway through the third quarter. Green makes them both. And the Panthers lead again by 1. Now here's Lyons with it, stolen by Boyk. Now Lyons just blocked it behind his back. How did he get that ball? Rebound goes to Lufkins. Now Carrick drives, puts it up, no good. Rebound, battled for, picked up by Edington, and he'll lead a 4-on-1. Edington, now he gets it stripped. Here's a 3-on-1 for the Bays. Lyons with it. Lyons goes strong to the hoop. That's going to be a blocking foul, as a physical game here so far. And that foul will go against Sebastian Ross, his first, team foul number 2. So that'll bring Lyons to the line. He'll shoot 2. He made his first 2. Brimley Bays basketball brought to you by Bay Mills Resort and Wild Bluff Golf Course. Come stay at the Bay. So Lyons makes his 3rd free throw in a row, so that's a good sign for the Bays. As they're 3 of 3 from the charity stripe, we're tied at 5. 5:34 to play in the first quarter. And Lyons sinks them both, so we haven't said that much this year. Brimley 4 of 4 from the charity stripe. They lead by 1. Brimley with a bit of a press. Now they back off. Gross. Now double team. That's a bad chance there for Gross. Had a chance, rather, and that was Ross. Just got it away. Now Storey, far sideline. Up top. Ross, 3. That one way off. And that goes out of bounds. Back to the Bays. Brimley Bays basketball brought to you by Baymart Sunoco and Gift Shop. Stop in before the game. They have Powerades, Monsters, coffee, donuts, and competitive fuel prices, among other things. Now here's Carrick, across the midcourt line. Carrick over to Zach Gross. Gross inside. Shornack lost that ball, got it back. Gets it to Carrick, now in the paint, and that's going to be a foul before the shot. And we'll see who they call that on. I think that's on Boyk, and that's his 2nd. So Joey Boyk at the line. You look at this Pickford bench, they have 5 players on the bench. And, well, you know Brimley's going to outmatch most teams on the bench. Timeout on the court, 5:01 to play here in the first quarter, 6-5 in favor of Brimley. This timeout brought to you by Mimic Insurance and the LaPrade Agency, reminding all school and healthcare employees that you can receive up to 35% discounts on your home and auto insurance when you're with Mimic. Contact the LaPrade Agency at 635-5981 to find out how. So off the timeout, the Bays will have it, leading by the score of 6-5. Big stretch here for Brimley. Next week they'll be in Detour on Monday night for that makeup game from last week. And then they'll be home on Friday night taking on Cedarville. So now Carrick to inbound, near sideline, lob pass, gets it to Zach Gross. Gross on the left wing, gets it to Carrick. Now Carrick drives, left of the lane, dishes it to Shornack. Shornack off the glass, no good. Rebound picked up by Jimmy Storey. Storey with the ball, across the midcourt line. Storey over to Drew Batho, his first action for the Panthers, wearing 00. Now Storey. Back to Ross between the circles. Lyons on him. Ross with the ball. Over to Storey, near sideline. Good defense right here for the Bays. Now up top, that's Travis Green. Green over to Edington. Thought about the 3 from way downtown. Now he ends up shooting it. That's not a good shot for him. That got nothing. That was way short. Goes to Carrick. Carrick with the ball. You'll let Edington shoot all night from there if you're Brimley. Now Carrick on the right wing. 6-5 Brimley. 4:10 to play in the first quarter. Carrick with the ball. We saw a little bit of a slow start on Tuesday for Brimley. Not that slow. They led 14-8 after 1. Now Lyons near side 3. That one's no good. Rebounded by Shornack. Shornack gets it to Gross on the right wing. All starters still in for the Bays. Now Gross. Zach Gross with the ball. Being guarded by Ross. Now Gross over to Shornack. Shornack drives. Puts it up off the glass. Good. Brenden Shornack's first 2. And the Bays lead 8-5. 3:40 to play in the first quarter. Storey with the ball for the Panthers. Near sideline Ross. Back to Storey. Now Storey across the midcourt line to Batho on the left wing. Near side, that's Ross. Wide open in the near corner is Green. Guarded by Gross. Now Green drives. Bounce pass over Batho. Long 3. No good. Rebound picked up by Ross. Ross gets it to Storey. He puts up the 12-footer. Good. Jimmy Storey's first 2, and that cuts the lead to 1. It's 8-7 Brimley. 3:10 to play in this first quarter. Boys basketball from Brimley. Now Carrick across the midcourt line to Johanson. Dylan Carrick being guarded by Batho. Carrick with the ball between the circles. Near side, Zach Gross. Now Gross. He's got Ross on him. Gross. Back. Johanson. Now Lyons on the right wing. Tristan Lyons with it. Now he'll drive. Pass it off the hands of Johanson. Picked up by Gross. Now Gross is going to be... Then we got a timeout by Coach Bathy with 2:43 to play here in this first quarter. It's 8-7 in favor of Brimley. Well, we had some games here this week in boys and girls basketball. Last night, a couple girls games as Cedarville defeated Newberry by the score of 55-48 to improve to 10-1 on the season. And Detour got their second win in girls basketball as they topped a Lansing 36-30. Games on Tuesday. We talked about this one here that we broadcast as Brimley beat Rudyard by 40. Newberry at Cedarville, and it was all Cedarville as the Trojans win 72-24 to improve to 5-0 in the conference, 8-2 overall, and they're in Engadine tonight. Engadine lost at home to Superior Central by 4. So off the timeout, the Bays with it, Zach Gross. They lead by 1. Now Gross, long 2 foot on the line, shot no good. Rebounded by Storey. Jimmy Storey with the ball, across the midcourt line, gets it to Ross. Ross being guarded by Lyons. Now Ross had to go off his head. Lyons picked his pocket, but Panthers have it right back. And we're going to have a foul on Brimley. And that'll be the 3rd team foul on the Bays. That'll go against Johanson. 2:24 to play here in the first quarter. 8-7 Brimley. Now number 22, Sam Hopper, checking in, replacing Johanson. Here come the Panthers. Storey, nice pass inside, shot off the glass, good. That one by Travis Green. He has 4. The Panthers up on top by 1. Back on top, I should say. Here's Carrick. Quickly to Lyons. Now Lyons, bounce pass. Shornack drives, puts up the shot short. Rebounded by Edington. Nick Edington with the ball. Now Edington, no look pass, wide open. Ross, left wing 3, no good. Rebound goes to Lyons, now picked right back by Ross. Now Batho has it, looking inside, shot, wild shot, no good. Shornack grabs the rebound for the Bays. Under 2 to play here in this first quarter. Back and forth game so far. Now Hopper drives, puts it up good. That's what you like to see if you're a Brimley fan. Sam Hopper aggressive going to that hoop, and he puts it in. The Bays back up by 1. $1:35 to play in this first quarter. Batho on the right wing. Gets it to Ross. Now swings it over to Storey. Storey to Ross. Ross to Batho. Now Batho centers it. Passes it over. Ross drives the baseline. That one deflected by Shornack. Picked up by Gross. Now here's Gross drives. Passes it over to Carrick. But that one's stolen by the Panthers. Jimmy Storey. Storey with the ball. Over to Edington. Edington drives. Puts up a shot. No good on the rebound, though. Picking it up is Travis Green. He puts it up and in. Travis Green with 6. And the Panthers back up on top by 1. Under a minute to play. Now we have a foul at the midcourt line as Coach Packin doesn't like that one. Don't think he was complaining about the call. He was more upset, I think, with his player fouling at the midcourt line. Now Josh Gross checking in, replacing Carrick. That foul will be on Drew Batho, his first. Team foul number 4 for the Panthers. Now Josh Gross to inbound. Gets it to Zach Gross. Zach Gross being guarded by Ross. Over to Josh Gross. Nice pass inside. Shornack found some space. He puts it in. Shornack with 4. The Bays back on top by 1. We've had about 6 or 7 lead changes here in this first quarter. Kind of expected this with these two teams. Now here's Storey with it. Storey gets it to Edington. Now Edington backs it up, finding a wide open Storey near side 3. Good. Jimmy Storey nails the 3. He has 5, and the Panthers back up by 2. Here's Zach Gross, across the midcourt line. 2 players on him. Gross puts it high off the glass. Good. Zach Gross with 4, and it's a 14-14 game. Good first quarter here in Brimley. Now here's Storey with it. Across the midcourt line, gets it to Edington at the free throw line. He lost the ball. Picked up by Batho. 10 seconds to play. Left of the lane. Panthers have it stolen. That's Josh Gross. Gross has it. 3 seconds. Josh Gross puts it up, and good. Josh Gross with a nice 2, and after 1 quarter of play, we got a good one here, guys and gals. Don't go anywhere. Brimley with a 16-14 lead. We'll be back with the second quarter here on Eagle 95.1. Scott Nason back in Brimley, Michigan. Fantastic first quarter as the Bays lead Pickford and boys basketball by the score of 16-14. Lyons, Zach Gross, and Shornack with 4 each to lead the Bays. Travis Green with 6 for the Panthers as Josh Gross, who made that shot just before the first quarter buzzer, found some space underneath the Panthers basket, but his foot found the end line, so that'll go back to the Panthers. Brimley 4 for 4 so far on free throws. Pickford 3 of 4. No real foul trouble too much yet. Joey Boyd does have 2 for the Panthers. Now Pickford with it, trailing by 2. We've seen about 7 lead changes in this first quarter. Now three-pointer Ross, no good. Rebound Edington. Gets it. Edington puts it up with the right hand. Good. Just that size. As Shornack was there, rather Johanson was there, but Edington just got those long arms over him. We're tied at 16. 7:25 to play in the second quarter. Josh Gross on the left wing. Carrick back up top to Hopper. Now Gross, pass inside. Nice one. Johanson finds some space, puts it up and in. His first two. That play's working for the Bays right now, and they go on top by 2. 7 minutes to play in the second quarter. Edington has it. Top of the circle. Now Edington drives. All sorts of activity on him. A quick 2 there. No good by Bathel. Rebounded by Edington. He puts up with the right hand. Good. Nick Edington with 7. And we're tied again at 18. Sam Hopper, far sideline, over to Josh Gross. Now Carrick with it. He has Bathel on him at the midcourt line. Now lob pass. Bad pass there, Carrick. A little bit of an unforced error as it was just out of the reach of Josh Gross. And that ball will go back to Pickford. Now Boyk back in with those 2 fouls, replacing Ross for the Panthers. Pickford with the ball. Tied at 18. Storey over to Boyk between the circles. Now back to Storey. Storey, Batho, far corner. Batho now up top to Boyk. Near side, Green. Left wing, now far sideline. Green has it. Now Storey, Boyk, Green. Good ball movement here for the Panthers. Nice steal by Carrick. Carrick with the steal. He picked the pocket. Carrick now tries to settle it down. Gets it to Josh Gross. Gross between the circles. Picked up his dribbles. Got to pass it. Sean Hill, his first action of the night with the ball. 6 minutes to play in the second quarter. Now Shornack has it up top. Over to Josh Gross. Looking for Hill inside. Now Hill on the baseline. Almost fell out of bounds. Now gets it to Johanson. Shornack. Carrick between the circles. Now Josh Gross. Panthers. Good defense on this possession. Now Shornack gets it to Carrick. Up top to Hill. Sean Hill with it. 5:35 to play in the second quarter. Now here's Gross underneath. That's going to be a foul before the shot on number 21, Jimmy Storey. His first. Team foul number 5 for the Panthers. Brimley Bays basketball brought to you by Wicked Sister. Burgers, starters, snacks, shareables, soups, and tapas. Voted the number 1 pub in the UP, located on Ashman Street in Sioux, Michigan. Now off the inbounds, that's Sean Hill as that ball goes off a Pickford player, so the Bays will do it again. We'll have Sioux High Blue Devil hockey tomorrow night with Tim Ellis as the Blue Devils will take on Traverse City West from the Big Bear. Tim will have the call around 7:45 tomorrow night. Now pass to Carrick, right in front of the Pickford bench. Johanson at the free throw line, back to Carrick. Now Josh Gross on the right wing. Carrick being guarded by Boyk. Now Gross, Bays very possessive, very patient on this possession. Now Hill over to Shornack, near corner. Carrick, now Hill, right wing. Hill with the ball. Between the circles, Gross. Far sideline, that's Shornack. Bays doing a lot of passing, finding Johanson up underneath. Good ball movement there by the Bays. They waited, and finally Johanson found some space, puts it in. He has 4, and the Bays up by 2. 4:50 to play in the second quarter. Storey gets it to Batho. Now on the right wing, Storey. Boyk. Storey again. Now Batho being guarded by Hill. Edington now draws a double team. Edington gets it up to Storey. Right elbow, puts up the shot. Good. Jimmy Storey with 7, and we're tied at 20. Good ball game here from Brimley. Now here's Josh Gross. Gross finds some space. Gross, fake, shot, no, but he was fouled. And that foul will be on Edington, who didn't think he deserved one, but there was contact, and that'll bring Gross to the line, shooting 2. So Josh Gross at the line, shooting 2. He has 2 points so far tonight. 4:22 to play in this second quarter. We're tied at 20. Now Gross, free throw, good. So the Bays 5 of 5 from the free throw line. That Gross has 3, so that's a good sign for Brimley. We've talked to Coach Bathy often. They can hit these free throws. It's just a matter of hitting them in the games, and, well, right now they're doing just that. Gross's second free throw up, no good, so their first miss. Rebound picked up by Edington. Bays lead by 1, 4:15 to play here in the second quarter. Batho on the right wing, up to Edington. Now Edington being guarded by Shornack. Dishes it over to Storey. On the left wing, Boyk. Joey Boyk. Between the circles to Drew Batho. Batho looking inside. Nice. Cut to the basket. Shot no. And that foul will go on Johanson. And number 24, Travis Green, will be at the line shooting 2. That's Johansson's second foul. Team foul number 4 for the Bays. So Green at the line shooting 2. First free throw rattles out. So Pickford 3 of 5 from the charity stripe. Brimley 5 of 6. Now Johanson will sit down with those 2 fouls as we'll see number 50 Hunter Lipponen in for the first time tonight. Now second free throw up and good. So Green makes the second. He has 7. We're tied at 21. Halfway through the second quarter. Coming up at halftime, we'll have our Superior Pizza and Subs halftime show. We'll recap the scoring. We'll get Vance Nason's thoughts on the first half. Now here's Hopper underneath, drawing the triple team. Shot short, but nice job by Gross. Johnny on the spot, or Josh on the spot. Don't call him John. I'll get in trouble. That's Gross with 5. And the Bays up by 2. 3:35 to play in the second quarter. Now Storey with it. Storey draws contact. That's Gross. Foul away from the basket. That's Josh Gross's first. Team foul number 5. Now Edington inbound. Right in front of the Brimley bench. Picked up by Joey Boyk. Storey up top. Travis Green. Now Green drives. Green backs it out. Gets it over to Batho. Open on the near side. Storey. He launches from 3. That one short. Rebound picked up by Batho. Right back to Storey, who puts it up and in. Jimmy Storey with 9, and the game is tied once again at 23. This has just been a nip and tuck affair throughout. I think the biggest lead's been 4 points. Now here's Carrick. Nice behind the back dribble. Finding Copper underneath. Misses the shot. There's Shornack on the rebound, putting it up and in. So the Bays really pounding those offensive boards. Shornack with 6, and the Bays up again by 2. Now here's Batho with it. Batho inside Edington. Edington with the right hand puts it up in. That's just tough to stop right there. If he's going to get that shot going, it's going to be a long night for the Bays. As we're tied at 25. 2:30 to play in this quarter. Now Gross breaks the press. Josh Gross up on Edington with the left hand in. Thought Edington might go for the block on that one as Drew Pocken not happy with something over there. He's upset. I think he might be mad at Edington right there, just saying, why are you backing away? You got to block that. Timeout on the court. Brimley leads by the score of 27-25. This timeout brought to you by Meebic Insurance and LaPrade Agency, reminding all school and healthcare employees that you can receive up to 35% discounts on your home and auto insurance when you're with Meebic. Contact the LaPrade Agency at 635-5981 to find out how. Bays basketball also sponsored by Chippewa County Credit Union, where all families make one union, serving all of Chippewa County, member NCUA, an equal housing lender. And brought to you by Bay Mills Community College. They are committed to providing affordable, culturally relevant, accessible, and high-quality educational opportunities to all. And you can apply online at bmcc.edu today. So the Panthers with the ball off the timeout, trailing by 2. Right now it's Jimmy Storey and Nick Edington with 9 for the Panthers, and Josh Gross leading the Brimley scorers with 7. Storey with the ball for the Panthers, cross the midcourt line. 2:15 to play in the second quarter. Boyk with it, being guarded by Carrick. Pass inside. Oh, nice block there by Jake Hopper. His first action. Gets it to Lipponen. Lipponen almost lost that one out of bounds. Now Hopper gets it to Josh Gross. Gross near side. Carrick 3. Yes, sir. Dylan Carrick's first 3 points. And the Bays have their biggest lead of the night. It's 5. Under 2 to play in the second quarter. Now here's Edington. It's the bump on Shornack, no call. Now here's Boyk with it. Boyk gets it to Storey. Now Boyk being guarded by Carrick. Boyk now over to Storey right in front of the Brimley bench. Now Storey thought about the 3. Gets it inside Edington. Oh, look at that pass. Boy, that's hard to explain right there. He just figured out where Green was. It was a no-look kind of behind the back pass, and Green puts it in. He has 9, and it's a 3-point lead for Brimley. Now here's the Bays with it. Nice job there by Carrick going up on Edington. He just got that shot up high, and he puts it in. He has 5 in a row, and the Bays lead by 5. $1:10 left here in this second quarter. Storey with the ball, being guarded by Josh Gross. Storey's pass out of the reach of Edington, taken by Hopper for the Bays. Minute left to play here in the quarter. Carrick over to Lipponen. Now Lipponen on the right wing, up top Shornack, near side Carrick, inside Jake Hopper. Jake Hopper now, pass, nice job Shornack. He's fouling. If that's on Boyk, that's his 3rd. We'll see who they call that on. Yeah, and that is indeed on Boyk, so that's a big foul. Joey Boyk now with 3 fouls, and that'll send Mr. Shornack to the line, shooting 2. Brimley 5 of 6 from the free throw line. Shornack's first free throw up, no good. He'll shoot one more, so Boyk's going to sit down with those 3 fouls. Sebastian Ross back in for Pickford. Now Shornack, shoot the second, and that free throw's good, so he splits the pair. And the Bays up by 6, 45 seconds left here in the second quarter. Storey across the midcourt line being guarded by Gross, Josh Gross. Storey gets it to Ross. Ross with the ball. Between the circles, Batho. Now Edington thought about going to the basket. Batho still has it. Good defense here by the Bays. Now Storey on the right wing. See if the Panthers play for the last shot. Still a lot of time, 20 seconds left. Along the baseline, that's going to be a foul. That's not a bad foul for Brimley. That's their 6th, so it's a non-shooting foul. And that foul will go on Carrick. That's his 2nd, so the next foul will send Pickford to the line. 21 seconds left here as Sean Hill checking in, replacing Carrick with those 2 fouls. That's a good move. You don't want to see Dillon get his 3rd. Late here now, Edington. Edington on Shornack. Right hand shot, no good. Rebound picked up by Shornack. We'll see if the Bays play for the last shot. Hill with it. 15 seconds. Smart basketball there. Now Lippinen on the right wing. Looking inside. Shornack double team. Now Hopper. Lippinen right wing. 3, no good. Rebound, Josh Gross. And that one I think goes off a Pickford player. As our referee Roger Wenzel might call a foul on that one. And that will. So that's a break for the Bays. As that'll send Gross to the line shooting a 1-and-1. Our officiating crew from Rogers City tonight, so a little bit of a drive for those guys, but hey, good weather. We had a nice drive from the Sioux. That foul on Sebastian Ross, his 2nd, so a 1-and-1 here for Gross. Josh Gross's free throw good, so the Bays really doing the job from the line tonight. Again, we haven't said that too much this year. Right now, 7 of 9. Those are excellent stats. Second free throw up good, so Josh Gross makes them both. 2.8 seconds. You don't want to foul if you're Brimley. You got to be careful. That shot at the buzzer, no good. And after 1/2 of play, it's been a good game here in Brimley. The Brimley Bays lead Pickford by the score of 35-27. We'll be back with our Superior Pizza and Subs halftime show here on Eagle 95.1. Welcome back to Brimley Bays basketball on Eagle 95.1. Scott Nason broadcasting from the Carl Parker Memorial Gymnasium in Brimley. Our broadcast engineer tonight, Brendan Benson. After 1/2 of play in boys basketball, the Brimley Bays lead the Pickford Panthers by the score of 35-27. Our halftime show sponsored by Superior Pizza and Subs, located on 6 Mile Road right near the Brimley State Park in Brimley, Michigan. They have great pizza, great subs. Hey, that's why they're called Superior Pizza and Subs. And speaking of superior and great, joined now by Vance Nason for his thoughts on the first half. And, well, Vance, pretty exciting half of basketball. Your thoughts on the game so far?
I think Brimley's done a very good job with ball movement. They've definitely passed the ball around the three-point line and then cut inside, especially with, who is it? Let's see. Never mind, I don't know. But they've definitely got it inside a lot.
One of the big guys.
Yeah, one of the big guys.
Shornack or Johanson.
Yeah, one of those two. So I think they just keep doing what they're doing, pass it inside. And if you're Pickford, you got to find out a way how to kind of get the ball moved around more. Or it's been kind of working. Just pass it to the 6'7" guy, Edington. Mm-hmm. Just get him in there. Like, he's been unstoppable this game. He's gotten in there. He's made shots. So I think they either need to work on their ball movement, or they need to get inside more.
Well, one of the things that Coach Bathy talked to us, Vance, before the game about is Edington. You know, he's going to get his points, but they wanted to have it a hard time for him to get the ball, and I think they're doing that. They're really getting on those guards, which is not allowing Edington to get open. I mean, you look at the leading scorers right now for the Panthers. They only have 3 guys that have scored. They've all scored 9, whereas Brimley, they have 7 guys that have scored, and this is where this deep bench comes in because Pickford doesn't play a lot of guys off the bench. Brimley plays a lot of guys. Once you get in the fourth quarter, when guys get a little tired, I think it's going to play to Brimley's advantage. What say you?
Yeah, I think so too, but I think that if Pickford, honestly, if they just keep those guys out there and then maybe bring some of their backups in the third quarter and then bring them back in the fourth, I think they can actually have a comeback victory.
Recapping the score, I mentioned 3 scores of 9 points for Pickford. Jimmy Storey, Nick Edington, and Travis Green each have 9. Josh Gross leads the Brimley Bays with 9 points. Brenden Shornack with 7. Lions, Zach Gross and Johanson with 4. And you have Sam Hopper with 2 foul trouble. Joey Boyk has 3 fouls for Pickford. And really no one in major foul trouble. Johanson and Carrick with 2 each. Well, Vance, thanks for joining us here at the halftime show. We'll talk to you after the game with your thoughts.
Looking forward to it.
And we'll be back with our second half here from Brimley. Again, our score at halftime. Brimley leads Pickford by the score of 35-27. You are listening to Brimley Bays basketball on Eagle 95.1. Back in Brimley, Michigan, we're just about to start our second half in boys basketball. The Panthers with the ball, and they trail Brimley by the score of 35-27. Want to give a shout out to my good buddy Matt listening tonight. We're a night off for Matt. He's a busy guy, but he's sitting back, relaxing, and appreciate you listening. And again, want to say hello to all our listeners tonight, and a very special hello to everyone, but especially to Darlene. Now, off the opening tip, Travis Green puts 2 in for the Panthers, and they trail by 6. Brimley with the ball. Now going left to right as seen on your radio dial. Zach Gross up top. Shornack now inside. Zach Gross finding some space, but he missed the shot. Thought that one was going down, but he misses it. The rebound goes to the Panthers. Been a close affair throughout. A lot of lead changes in that first quarter. The Bays led pretty much the entire second quarter. But now the Panthers starting to claw their way back. Sebastian Ross looking inside. Now outside to Storey. Fakes the shot. Now Storey to Ross on the left wing inside. That's Green. Puts up the shot. Good. So the Pickford Panthers 4 points out of the gate. Travis Green now with 13. All of a sudden it's a 4-point game. Bays with the ball. Across the midcourt line. Josh Gross. Now inside. Shornack high off the glass. How did he get that one to go in? He does. Shornack with 9 right up on Edington. And the Bays extend their lead to 6. We did have one out-of-town scoreboard update as Cedarville up on Engadine big after one, 26-10. Thanks to our own Jim Lee Hockey for that update. Hopefully he'll give us more. Now another shot there in the paint by Storey. Good. He has 11. And it's a 4-point lead. Here's Johanson. That foul will be on Travis Green, his first, as Coach Pocket, again, just, if you're a coach, you don't like to see those fouls on the other side of the court or at the midcourt line. Now Zach Gross will pass it to his brother Josh. Josh Gross with it. 6:20 to play in the third quarter. Bays with the ball, leading by 4. Carrick on the left wing being guarded by Boyk, who has those 3 fouls. Now here's Josh Gross up to Zach Gross. Zach Gross, 13-foot shot, no good. Rebound, battled for. Nice job by Johanson, but he traveled. Yeah, he was a little too much movement there going to the floor for that rebound, and so the Panthers will take over. Now Boyk with it, off the inbound. He'll walk the ball up court. Carrick guarding him. Wyatt Boyk over to Storey. Now Storey far sideline, lob pass, Edington, turnaround shot, no good. Edington with those long arms gets the rebound, misses another one. Third opportunity, no. Panthers crashing the boards, and Shornack keeps that one alive. Gross quickly down court, Gross to Gross. Now shot up, good. Nice job there by Johanson. He has 6, and it's a 6-point lead for the Bays. Joey Boyk with it. Boy, the Panthers had 3-4 opportunities inside to put that one in. Now a pass, almost went out of bounds, picked up by Edington along the baseline. Storey to Boyk, near side, Ross, and guarded by Gross. Now Ross turns it around, pass it to Boyk. Boyk between the circles. Boyk now lob pass inside to Green. Green in the paint. Green, good defense there by Johanson. Now Green gets it back, right wing. Green over to Boyk. Now Ross on the left wing. Screen set by Green. Now ball goes off of Josh Gross out of bounds. Credit this Brimley defense. They're really making it hard for Nick Edington to even get a shot. I mean, he has made some, but he hasn't had a lot, and that's credit to this Brimley defense. Some good matchups on him tonight. Now lob pass broken up by Johanson. Here's Gross with it. Zach Gross puts it up with the left hand. Good. Zach Gross with 6, and the Bays have their biggest lead of the night. It's 8. 4:45 to play in this third quarter. Now here's Boyk with it. Gets it over to Ross. Ross now just ran over Gross. Bays get the ball, though. They just lost the ball. Now here's Josh Gross with it. Josh Gross with the ball. Brimley leads 41-33, 4:25 to play in the third quarter. Now Zach Gross up top to Shornack. Now Shornack gets it to Josh Gross on the right wing. Being guarded by Storey. Only one foul here in this second half. That on Pickford. Carrick over to Zach Gross. Now up top Shornack. Shornack with the ball. Over to Carrick on the right wing. Now we're going to have a 3-second violation there. I believe that's on Johanson. He shakes his head, but I think he was in there a little bit long. So the ball will go back to the Panthers. Brimley Bays basketball brought to you by O'Connor's and Pickford. Check out their full line of Dodge, truck, Ram, and Jeep vehicles. Now here's a 2-point shot there. Rattles in by Jimmy Storey. He has 13. Again, only 3 Panthers have scored, but they're hanging around. They trail by 6. Zach Gross with it. Gross over to Carrick. Bays have looked very composed in this game. We saw that on Tuesday. They look pretty composed tonight. Now here's Gross driving. No good. Rebound Johanson. That one blocked by Edington. Goes to Joey Boyk. Now Boyk almost fell down, but he keeps his dribble. Gets it up court to Batho. Batho over to Boyk. Now pass behind Batho out of bounds. That'll go back to the Bays. Brimley Bays basketball brought to you by Chuck Renzi Ford. You've got a relative in the car business at Chuck Renzi Ford in Newberry. You can find them on Facebook at Chuck Renzi Ford of Newberry. Now Johanson underneath on Edington. Puts it up and in. Strong shot there by Johanson. He has 11, and the Bays back on top by 8. Edington yet to score here in this second half. He has 9. But again, it's the shot totals that he has. That's probably the impressive thing for Brimley. He's just not getting the ball. Again, credit that Brimley defense in the different matchups. And he's not getting one matchup all night. They're switching it up. Coach Bathy said they would switch it up. And that'll be the first foul on Brimley. I believe that's going to go against Shornack. And if it is, that's his first. Now Sam Hopper checking in. That foul will go on Shornack. 2:54 to play in this third quarter. Bays lead by 8. Panthers with the ball. Jimmy Storey on the near side. Green now in the paint. Edington right-handed shot. Good. So that's Eddington's first points. He has 11. And it's a 6-point lead for the Bays. 2:40 to play in this third quarter. Gross with it. Josh Gross over to Carrick on the left wing. Now up top Johanson. Near side Josh Gross. Inside Sam Hopper. Edington on him. Hopper puts it up and in. Sam Hopper with 4. And Wyatt Boyk will, what do we have here, a timeout? Or we're just going to let the guy tie his shoe? That happens in elementary basketball. I've seen that a few times this past weekend. 45-37 Brimley. Pickford with the ball. 2:25 to play in the third quarter. Bays looking to stay in that EUP title race. Cedarville's up on Engadine. They're undefeated. Bays and Eagles with 1 loss. The Panthers with 2. And that's going to be a foul there on Gross. Good aggressive play going for the steal. And that'll be Josh Gross's second, team foul number 2. So if you're Coach Bathy, you're probably not too upset on that because that's just how Josh Gross plays. Both of them do. Now here's Boyk with it. Across the midcourt line, gets to Batho on the right wing. Batho between the circles, Storey. Now Storey with it. Storey looking for Edington. Swings it over to Boyk. Now Edington near corner. Thinks about the 3. Now he'll drive. Edington underhanded scoop shot. No good. Good job by Gross to bat that rebound to Sam Hopper because Edington was going to get it if he didn't. Josh Gross with the ball. 1:45 to play in the third quarter. Carrick with it. Up top, Johanson. Now Gross. Nice pass inside Hopper. That's got to be goaltending. Yeah, Edington got up there. That ball was going down. And Sam Hopper with 6 points. And the Bays now lead, I believe, by 10. They're a little slow getting the scores up. There we go. So the first double-digit lead. We saw that at the end of the first quarter. It was 14-14 on the scoreboard. I said 16-14, and it took about, a full minute to get that 16 up there. So give one to me in Vance on that one. Now Edington with the roller. Good. So Nick Edington with 13, and we're have a timeout on the court with 1:25 to play here in this third quarter. Brimley leads by the score of 47-39. Pickford has 3 guys that have scored, and all 3 of them have 13 points. That's kind of a anomaly in the stat category. Jimmy Storey, Nick Edington, and Travis Green all with 13 points each. For the Bays, they're led right now by Brenden Shornack. He has 11 points. Josh Gross has 9. Sam Hopper with 6, along with Zach Gross and Kaleb Johanson. Dylan Carrick with 5, and Tristan Lyons with 4. So the Bays off the timeout will have the ball, leading by 8. First quarter, we saw about 7 or 8 lead changes. In the second quarter, Brimley either led or was tied. But they've really been in the lead throughout, well, they have been in the lead throughout the second half. And played very controlled basketball. Been impressed with them. Pickford, not a team that presses a lot, but the Bays have really stuck to their game plan. Now Brimley with the ball, minute 15 left here in the quarter. Sam Hopper in the paint. Now Hopper somehow got around 3 players. I don't know what he did there, but whatever it was, it worked. Hopper with 8, 6 in this quarter. And the Bays again lead by 10. A minute left to play here in the third. Jimmy Storey with the ball. Storey, right-handed dribble. Gets it over to Boyk. Boyk to Ross. Ross, Green. Outside the arc, now bounce pass, hits Gross in the back as that's going to be Carrick going for the ball. That's going to be a travel. Fans don't like that one, but that was their correct call. Official right on the spot. So the Panthers will get it. 45 seconds left here in the third quarter. Here's Boyk with it. Boyk yet to score tonight. Again, Panthers only have 3 guys that have scored. They haven't used their bench much either. Now here's Green with it. Green with the ball. Over to Ross. Ross swings it over to Boyk. Now far corner, Green. Looking inside, Edington. That's going to be a foul on Hopper. And that'll be Sam's first. Team foul number 3. Again, if you're Coach Bathy, you're not getting too upset about that. You got to play aggressive on Edington. And Hopper did just that. However, he committed the foul. Now Boyk to inbound. Gets it over to Storey. Being guarded by Gross. Now up top to Ross. 20 seconds left here in the third. Joey Boyk with it between the circles. Boyk over to Ross. Now Ross over to Storey. 10 seconds. Storey along the baseline. Gets it to a wide open Ross. He launches a 3. Good. So Sebastian Ross with his first points, and that cuts it to 7. Bay's got to get it down court. At the buzzer. Oh, that one almost went in from past the midcourt line. Holy cow. Sound like Harry Carey right there. After 3 quarters, it's Brimley leading Pickford by the score of 49-42. We'll be back with the fourth quarter here on Eagle 95.1. Fourth quarter underway here in Brimley as the Pickford Panthers outscore the Brimley Bays by 1 in that third quarter, but it's Brimley with a 49-42 lead in boys basketball. Hill with the ball. That one almost swatted away. Good job by Hopper to keep it. Hopper is going to get fouled by Edington as the Pickford fans didn't think that was the call. Kind of hard to tell from here, but the Bays will take it. That's Eddington's second foul. Team foul number 2 on the Panthers. So Sam Hopper at the line. He'll shoot 2. First free throw up. Good. So how about this stat? The Bays, 9 of 11 from the free throw line. Let me repeat that. The Bays, 9 of 11 from the free throw line. Those are some very good numbers. Make it 10 of 12. Boy, are we going to have fun with that with Coach Bathy. Brimley, 10 of 12 from the line. They lead by 9. 7:40 to play here in the fourth quarter. Now Pickford with the ball. Looking for Edington inside. Now Edington moves outside. Edington draws the double team. Gets it over to Green. Now back to Edington. That foul will be on Hopper. Sam Hopper's second. That'll be the 4th team foul on Brimley. Again, if you're Coach Bathy, you see that play. You're not getting too upset on the aggressive play. You got to play Edington aggressive, and the Bays have all night long. Joey Boyk to inbound. Panthers trail by 9. 7:30 to play in the fourth quarter. Now Boyk's got to get it out. He does. To Storey. Storey between the circles. Near side Ross. Now Storey. Storey up top. Looking for Edington at the free throw line. Now Edington with it. Edington dishes it out to Boyk. Now Boyk back up to Storey. Near side Ross. Edington at the free throw line. Puts up the right-handed shot. Good. Edington with 15. And the Panthers just kind of hanging around. They trail by 7. 7 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter. Sean Hill with the ball. Over to Zach Gross. Left elbow, Lipponen. Now back up top to Hill. He likes to shoot it. He does. No good. Rebound. Battle for a nice one by Carrick. Gets it inside to Lipponen. Lipponen with the shot. No, but he was fouled. And Hunter Lipponen will go to the line shooting 2. And we'll call that a non-shooting foul. Looked like he was doing the shot there, but they say that was before the shot. Or maybe they didn't call a foul. I don't know. Bays had the ball anyway. Here's Lipponen with it. The foul was on. It looked like Edington. That was still his second. Maybe they didn't call a foul. Must have been out of bounds. Now here's a three-point opportunity. Carrick, yes, sir! Dylan Carrick with 8. And the Bays lead once again by 10. Carrick's nailed 2 threes tonight. Here's Boyk with it. Boyk almost had a stolen. Boy, Dylan Carrick's playing a nice game tonight. We were talking before the game tonight, Coach Bathy and I, about his play specifically, and he just come along nicely this year. Pickford with the ball, trailing by 10. Now that's a foul. That's not a good foul there by Hill. And that one was quite a bit of ways from the basket. That'll be the 5th foul on the Bays. Pickford hasn't shot a free throw in this second half. They're 3 of 5, and the Bays 10 of 12. That's big right now when you have a 10-point lead. Now that steal there by Shornack. Here's Hill underneath. Hill lays it up. No good. Rebound, though. Gross. Nice job by Zach Gross. He saw that one might be missed, and it was. And Zach Gross puts it in. He has 8. And the Bays have their biggest lead of the night. It's 12, and a timeout by Coach Drew Packen. With 6:13 to play in the fourth quarter, Brimley leads Pickford by the score of 56-44. This timeout brought to you by Mimic Insurance and the LeProd Agency, reminding all school and healthcare employees that you can receive up to 35% discounts on your home and auto insurance when you're with Mimic. You can contact the LeProd Agency at 635-5981 to find out how. Brimley Bays basketball also sponsored by Baymart Sunoco and Gift Shop. Stop in before the game. They have competitive fuel prices, the freshest coffee in town, donuts. They also have Powerades, 2 for $3.50. Monsters as well. Great discounts. Baymart Sunoco and Gift Shop. And brought to you by Bay Mills Resort and Wild Bluff Golf Course. Now, you can't golf right now. You can still come stay at the Bay. And you know what? We'll be golfing very soon. Well, by very, I mean probably 4 months. But hey, it's all how you look at very. So Brimley with a 12-point lead here, hoping to beat Pickford for the first time, well, in a while. They went 0-2 against the Panthers last season, and with Cedarville on the docket next week along with Detour, the Bays in good position on this one to keep themselves in the title hunt in the UP Conference. Still a lot to play here. This one is not over by any stretch. Panthers with the ball, trailing by 12. 6:10 to play in the fourth quarter. Now here's Storey with it at the free throw line. Storey with it. Gets it over to Boyk. Boyk over to Edington. I don't think Edington's come out at all in this game. Now Edington along the baseline. Thought he traveled. But they're going to call, what are they going to call here? A foul. That's going to be a blocking foul. Didn't see much there, but our official did. And he's the one that matters, not the guy with the headset on. So now Hill will check in for Josh Gross, who committed that foul, his third. Yeah, nobody in real foul trouble. Gross with 3 now, and Joey Boyk with 3 for the Panthers. Now Boyk with it. Boyk, pass, up to Storey. Now Storey on the left wing side. Joey Boyk now to Edington. Edington left of the lane, turnaround shot, tough one, no good. Rebound goes to Green. As that one stolen right there by Carrick. Boy, Carrick's played a nice game tonight. Carrick gets it up to Zach Gross. Zach Gross with it. Over to Carrick. Up top, launches the 3. No, that one's short. Rebound, though. Battled for, kept alive by Hill, and now kept by Boyk. He puts it up with the left hand and in. Joey Boyk's first 2, and that cuts the lead to 10. 5:15 to play in the fourth quarter. Sean Hill with it. Over to Carrick. Back to Hill. Now Zach Gross. Looking inside. That one almost stolen by Edington. Kept alive by Gross. Now Gross along the baseline. Lipponen. Back up top Hill. He'll launch from 3. That one's short. Rebound. Kept alive by Gross. 2 offensive rebounds. And Coach Matt Bathy gets a smart timeout. And that'll be a 30-second timeout with 4:57 to play here in the fourth quarter. The Bays lead by 10. Looking at our sports schedule for the rest of the week, we have a couple hockey games coming up from the Big Bear Arena. Tim Ellis will be at the Lions Showcase this weekend as the Sioux High Blue Devils have a pair of games, including tomorrow night. The Blue Devils will take on Traverse City West. Tim will have the pregame show tomorrow night around 7:45 with the drop of the puck around 8. And then on Saturday afternoon, Sioux High will take on very good and powerful, I might add, Flint Powers. Tim will have the pregame show Saturday at 2:45 with the face-off at 3. And don't forget our sports show, The Game, Monday night for the Wicked Sister at 6 p.m. Off the timeout, the Bays have it leading by 10, under 5 to play in the fourth quarter. Carrick gets it over to Zach Gross. Now back up top, Carrick over the far side, Hill, Lipinen along the baseline, puts up the shot, no good. Rebound, battle for it. Good job there by Shornack to create the jump ball. The ball's going to go to Pickford, but you know what? That might play into the Bays' hands here on the next jump ball. As a matter of fact, it will, because the Bays will get it. Pickford with the ball. They're still in this one. 4:40 to play in the fourth quarter. Storey with the left-handed dribble being guarded by Zach Gross. Now Storey looking inside. Passes it to Boyk. Over on the right wing, that's Ross. Ross now to Edington. Edington, tough shot at the free throw line, no good. Rebound stolen there by the Panthers. Now picked up by Zach Gross. Zach Gross with it. He'll get it over to Hill on the baseline. Nice pass, Lipinen. Now he'll back it out up to Carrick. They're really making life tough for Edington. Even when he gets shots off, it is tough because he has players all over him. Credit the Bays' game plan here so far. Now here's Shornack. Up top, Carrick fakes the shot, now passes it over. Gross, Lipinen, open, baseline, shot, good. Hunter Lipinen, his first two. And the Bays lead by 12. 3:45 to play here in the fourth quarter. Edington now is going to launch an NBA range three way off. Again, if you're Brimley, you let him shoot that. He's clearly frustrated out there. He's having a hard time getting shots off. And if he's going to be shooting Stephen Curry type threes, well, if you're Brimley, you're going to take your chances there. I mean, he might hit one or two, but he's not going to hit a whole lot. And that's no offense to Mr. Edington. It's just a tough shot to hit. 3:39 to play in the fourth quarter. Bays with the ball leading by 12. This will be a big win and a big week for the Bays if they can hang on to this one. Lots of confidence going into their conference matchups next week, including next Friday against Cedarville here. Homecoming in Brimley. Bays with the ball. Carrick. Bays in absolutely no rush here. One thing we haven't seen too much of is turnovers. As I say that, Pickford, of course, steals it. Travis Green puts it up. No good. He misses the layup. And Coach Paka just kind of looks up to the sky as we have a timeout by Coach Bathy. And if you're the Bays, you don't need to really press right now. You are in the driver's seat. You control this game up by 12, but we have a timeout. And so Brimley hoping to win this game and improve to 8-2 at the halfway mark of the season. And I did talk to Coach Bathy about the districts. The draw is out. The districts will be played this year. The girls will be in Brimley, and the boys will be in Engadine. And the Brimley Bays have drawn Rudyard in the opening game. I believe there's 4 teams in that district. We'll be covering the Brimley games here in March for the boys. And Ojibwe Charter will take on Engadine. So a tough district. You saw last year, Engadine won the district title in Brimley. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to covering Brimley Bays basketball all season long. Our next Brimley Bays broadcast will be next Thursday night, as Todd Olmsted will be in Cedarville for the girls, as the Brimley Bays will take on the Cedarville Trojans. And we haven't had a whole lot of girls games just because of the way the schedule's set up. But looking at the schedule for the girls, of their last 12 games, of their last 9 games, we'll have 7 of them on the radio. So a lot of boys games early, a lot of girls games late, and we'll have all the playoff games here in February and hopefully through a good part of March. Bays off the timeout with the ball, leading by 12. 3 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. Zach Gross with it. Now Gross over to Carrick on the right wing. Carrick inside, Shornack, double team, gets it out. Again, Brimley does not have to rush any shots. They can just pass it around for a while. And you look at the fouls, Pickford with those 3 team fouls, they may have to start using those here soon. As I say that, they don't have to now because they stole the ball, picked up by Edington. But the Panthers need some points in a hurry. Storey over to Bathel on the left wing. Now back to Storey. Storey over to Boyk. Boyk now back to Storey. He launches the 3. Yes, sir. Big shot for the Panthers. Storey was 16, and they cut it to 9. Still lots of time here. 2:20 to play in the fourth quarter. This is where free throws will possibly come into play. The Bays have been good with them, and that's a good foul for Pickford. Because you're going to have to start fouling because they only have 4 team fouls. That one was on Travis Green, his second, so Pickford still going to need to foul a couple more times before they send Brimley to the free throw line. So Brimley with the ball, leading by 9, 2:10 to play here in the fourth quarter. Johanson gets it to Gross. Josh Gross across the midcourt line. Gross over to Carrick. Carrick on the left wing with 2 minutes to play. Shornack over to Gross. Gross inside Johanson. Double team. Puts up the shot. No good. Rebound Johanson on the offensive rebound. Jump ball, but the Bays will get that. Again, that play by Shornack to create that jump ball. That's where it comes into play right there for the Bays, or at least to their advantage. And so they'll get the ball. Leading by 9. Minute 56 left here in the fourth quarter. Been a good game in boys basketball. Now we have some condensation on the court, so one of the Brimley student volunteers or coaches out there wiping. And this is usually the job for the athletic director, I might add, but Hugh Clark not here tonight. Superintendent Brian Riator with those duties. Man, well in control of the situation. Even though he's a Michigan fan, we won't hold that against him. At least that much. They beat Michigan State last weekend, so as we discussed earlier, he's got bragging rights right now. But I just go back to football season, which is a lot more fun. Now here's Gross with it. Minute 45 to play. Carrick inside Johanson. Johanson shot up good. Big shot there for the Bays. Johanson with 8, and that extends that lead to 11. So now it's going to be real tough for the Panthers. Here's Edington. Edington drives, spin move, passes, but a foul. And I think if you're Brimley, you're still okay with that. That will send Edington to the line, shooting a 1-and-1, I believe. And that foul on Shornack. So that's the 7th team foul. Give kudos tonight to our broadcast engineer, Brendan Benson, back in the Eagle 95.1 studios. KG vet in the industry already. Now Edington's first free throw, good. He rattles that one in. That's the first free throw in the second half for the Panthers, and they have a minute 31 to play in the fourth quarter. Now Edington with 16 points as he rattles that second one out. Rebound picked up by the Bays. Again, Pickford, if they're going to foul, they're going to have to get a couple fouls before they get to that 7-team foul mark. So Bays just want to hang on to the ball and run some clock. Minute 15, they lead by 10. Carrick with it, over to Gross. Now Gross with the ball, and yep, that's a foul. That's a smart foul there by Pickford. Again, you got to do it a couple times more. And that's Boyk's 4th. Team foul number 5, minute 11 to play. Some fans already leaving. I would assume those are Pickford fans wanting to get a jump on the traffic. Now here's another foul. That's going to be on Jimmy Storey, his second. So the next foul will send Brimley to the line, but it's a place that they have enjoyed tonight, as they're 10 of 12 from the free throw line right now. Now here's Gross with it. Gross gets it to Carrick, and that'll be a foul, so that'll send Carrick to the line shooting 1-and-1. As that foul will go on Storey, his 3rd. So 1-and-1 free throw opportunity for Dylan Carrick. He has 8 points, including 2 threes. The Bays only have 2 3-pointers, both hit by Carrick. So big free throws here. Carrick 1-and-1, free throw up, good. Boy, you got to love this if you're Coach Matt Bathy, seeing these free throw numbers tonight. Bays 11 of 13 from the free throw line. So Carrick at the line. He'll shoot one more. Bays lead by 11. Carrick rattles that one out. If you're Brimley, you don't want to foul right now. Let him hit shots. Now Edington from NBA range. He launches a 3 again. You'll let him shoot that all day long if you're Brimley. However, Johanson can't keep the rebound. Goes out of bounds off of him. 55 seconds left to play. Bays lead by 11. Looking to improve to 8-2 on the season with the win here. Now here's Green with it in the paint. Tough shot, high off the glass. No, Edington on the rebound. Edington now swings it over. Long 3, Boyk. That one's good. So Boyk with 5 points, keeping the Panthers with a little bit of a pulse as they now trail by 8. As they apply the full court press. Bays, little shaky here, getting it across the midcourt line, and now Johanson will be fouled right at the center circle. That one by Sebastian Ross, his 3rd. And so with 34 seconds left to play, Brimley shooting a 1-1, leading by 8. So Kaleb Johanson at the line. He has 8. He'll shoot a 1-1. One of these that makes it a 3-possession game. First free throw up, good. So Johanson with 9. We'll definitely have to share these free throw numbers with Coach Bathy after the game. He's going to want to put that on the refrigerator. I'll let him even borrow my stat sheet. Second free throw up, no good. Rebound by Edington. 3-possession game now. Now here's Boyk with it. I thought the foot was on the line, but he misses the shot. Rebound picked up by Green. Now up top, Storey. He launches the 3. That one's no good. Rebound picked up by Johanson. That's pretty much going to do it. With 20 seconds left to play, Brimley leads by the score of 62-53. Vance and I had a little contest as far as who was going to win the game. We both thought Brimley was. I said more than 10. He said less than 10. And right now it's at 9. So one of us is going to be right. Or maybe it will be at 10 and it will be the same. So Vance, we'll bring you in here. This is a big win for Brimley. We'll get some early final thoughts. Fun game. Brimley, they're going to get the win, aren't they?
Yes, they have. Or yes, they are. I've been impressed by their shooting all day. Not just at the charity stripe, but everywhere. They've made outside shots. They've made inside shots. They've really impressed me this game. And I think they have a good shot going forward.
I do as well, Vance, as Brimley's going to get one more chance. And, they missed the layup there. Johanson, now he puts it in. As our final score, Brimley with a big win. They defeat Pickford by 11, I might add. The score of 64-53. We'll be back with our post-game show here on Eagle 95.1. Scott Nason back in Brimley, Michigan. Our final score in boys basketball, the Brimley Bays improved to 8-2 on the season with a 64-53 win over the Pickford Panthers. We'll be joined by Vance Nason here for his thoughts on the game in a few minutes, but we are joined by head coach Matt Bathy and Dylan Carrick, who scored 9 points on the night. Coach, we'll start with you. We talked before the game about the things that you had to do to win this game, and judging by the things I saw and described, it sounds like you had a good game plan. You made it very tough for Edington to get shots. You had some good matchups, and your players played control. You win by 11. Thoughts on the game?
Yeah, we did. We didn't execute as well as we wanted to, but we came out and we wanted to really push the tempo, force them to make some mistakes, which we did. Dylan didn't have a great scoring night, but he controlled the offense really well, and that's why, it's a big part of it. We had the victory.
Yeah, Dylan, we were commenting before the game on your play and how I think outstanding you've played this season. A nice win for you guys. What's your thoughts on beating Pickford, a team that beat you guys twice last year? Got to be a nice feeling for you.
Yeah, it feels great. We knew this was a big conference game going into it, so we had to win this if we wanted to win the conference.
And as Coach Bathy said, Dylan, you scored those 2 big threes. You had 9 points on the night, but it was the other things that you did. You were kind of the quarterback out there for a lot of the game, and you really had things under control from my perspective. What were some of the things that worked so well for you tonight?
I felt like we really pushed the ball pretty well, and when we needed to slow it down, we did, and I think we really kept our cool.
Now, Dylan, you guys have a couple games next week in Detour on Monday, and then that big matchup here on Friday against Cedarville. But first things first, you got to go out and beat Detour. So best of luck, and any final thoughts before we go back to the coach for a question?
I think that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Coach Bathy, got to be nice to get this victory over Pickford. You guys are still alive in the conference race. You have a couple games next week, Detour on Monday, and then Cedarville. A lot of confidence going into those ones.
Yeah, we talked about momentum, and we talked about really building on what we did against Rudyard, and we made some strides tonight as well. This is a big game tonight. We probably didn't play as well as we wanted to, but coming out with a victory is the main thing. And these guys, they're starting to learn that when we play unselfish basketball, we can't be beat, and it showed tonight again. We really shared the ball well again. And I think we're starting to turn the corner, don't you, Dill?
Yeah, I think so.
I would agree to that. Coach Matt Bathy, Dylan Carrick joining us. Guys, best of luck next week, and great game tonight. We'll talk to you very soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks for coming up. We'll recap the stats here before we get to Vance and his final thoughts. Another balanced scoring attack for the Brimley Bays. Brenden Shornack leads their scoring with 12. Kaleb Johanson with 11. Sam Hopper with 10. 9 points apiece, Josh Gross and Dylan Carrick 8 points from Zach Gross, 4 points from Tristan Lyons, and 2 points from Hunter Lipponen. For the Pickford Panthers, they were led by Nick Edington and Nick Edington and Jimmy Storey. They each had 16 points for the Pickford Panthers. Travis Green with 13, Joey Boyk with 5, and Sebastian Ross with 3. With the win, the Bays improved to 8-2 overall, 4-1 in the EUP Conference. And with the loss, the Panthers fall to 4-5, 3-3 in conference. We're joined by Vance Nason for his thoughts on the game. Vance, it was a game that Brimley really wanted. Granted, Pickford wanted it too, but they pretty much led throughout the Bays, that is, and they have an 11-point victory. Your thoughts on the game?
I am very impressed by what Brimley did today. They stopped number 23, I forget his name.
Edington, yep.
Edington. They stopped him from getting many shots off. Even though he had a great game himself, the whole team didn't perform well. It was kind of just all leaned on him, and I think that their defense just tightened up, and they were pressing, and they were aggressive, and I think that's the reason they won this game.
Well, and that's one of the things, Vance, that we talk about often on the broadcast about how deep this Brimley team is. And when you can have 10 or 11 guys that come into the lineup often and guard Edington, it's not just one guy. It wasn't just Shornack. It wasn't just Sam Hopper. It was his other guys. And we saw Edington. He got his points, mind you. He got 16 points, but he just had a hard time getting open. And you really got to credit the defense and especially the depth. Just something you don't see a lot, even in the higher stages of basketball. You see a Michigan State that has depth. You don't see a lot of high school basketball teams that have this depth, and that's something that could really carry them throughout. And I didn't even mention the free throws to Coach Bathy. The Bays go 12 of 17. That's another big sign because you know what? There's going to be some close games, and you're going to have to make those free throws, aren't you?
Yeah, free throws can be very important in the game because if you lose by 5 points, if you miss five, like even 2 free throws, you could get a 3 to tie the game up. Like, free throws are huge. People just throw them off sometimes, but free throws can be bigger than 3-pointers sometimes.
Yeah, Brimley wins by 11 and they make 12 free throws, so there's your difference. Vance, thanks for joining us. We'll get you back on in a couple weeks. Great job as always, and hey, another Brimley victory, and we're only halfway through the season. We got a long way to go, my friend.
Oh, yes, we do.
Thanks for joining us, Vance.
Yep.
And that's going to do it here from Brimley. Want to thank our broadcast engineer tonight, Brendan Benson, back in the Eagle 95.1 studios, doing a fantastic job as always. Don't forget, tomorrow night we'll have Sioux High Blue Devil hockey as the Blue Devils will take on Traverse City West. Tim Ellis will have the call of that game tomorrow night from the Big Bear. 7:45 pregame show with the face-off at 8. And we'll also have Sioux High on Saturday afternoon as the Blue Devils will take on Flint Powers. Tim will have the call of that one. 2:45 pregame with the opening face-off at 3. And our next Brimley Bays basketball broadcast will be next Thursday from Cedarville as the girls will take on the Cedarville Trojans. Todd Olmsted will have the call of that one from Cedarville. Once again, our final score, Brimley with a 64-53 win over the Pickford Panthers. We'll get back to more classic hits at random right now here on Eagle 95.1.